All right, Dr. Reddick, I'm back again with Pavant, and we're ready to do our countdown, or count up, I should say, right, to Lab 6 and 7. But we're still here on 3 and 4, and so we're going to hit our goals for Lab 3, and then, of course, Lab 4. But Lab 3, we have Node-RED. So this is a great topic for Pavant to talk about because Pavant was not aware of Node-RED until he took my class. And then once he started working with it, he just saw it as this great enabling tool. So the first step here on part 3 is you just install Node-RED. And that's just basically it. So this is about as simple as a goal for a lab as you can get. So did you have any trouble installing Node-RED when you did it?
No. It was pretty easy. It is an open source,
right.
So it has every documentation how to install it.
Right.
So and there are many YouTube videos where they can show you and they can walk through you.
Right. Sometimes I do enjoy pushing my students to go out there and just do some searching in YouTube, and because some of the tools for Internet of Things are ever changing, so it's good to be able to feel comfortable to see what's new and interesting on YouTube. This is a case where I kind of push you a little bit, even though I have some resources on Isidore. You can also just go into YouTube and Google installing Node-RED. You're going to find out you have to install Node JavaScript, Node.js, and then after that, you go through a few steps of installing Node-RED, and there's almost no trouble here.
There's no trouble, yeah.
The only thing is, I mean, it's a little different than an application. It doesn't have like a fancy user interface, right? But other than that, you get it up and running. You go into command line, you type in Node-RED to run it.
Yep.
And then you jump over, and how do you view Node-RED? How do you get working?
So it's on a local host. So local host is a server, virtual server.
Okay.
So it is running out there on your computer.
All right.
In a what you call a port. Okay. So in a port. So if you go into that port using localhost is to 1880.
Oh, that was going to be my next question. Do you remember the port to get to Node-RED?
Yeah, I remember.
So 1880, right? 1880.
Yeah, 1880.
So you type localhost 1880.
Then you'll go to the Node-RED.
And then you're going to jump over there to Node-RED. All right, so then you're good. You document it. You're done with that one. Let's go on. So next we have display data. Now, Pavant, what do we want here with displaying data? What is this using?
So in the lab 2, you got the sensor data.
Right.
So you need to get the data into Node-RED and then display it. So,
all right.
Okay. So the first thing that you do is you install some of the drivers that are needed.
All right.
So there are something called UI, Node-RED UI.
User interface.
Yeah.
But a lot of people abbreviate that to UI. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
User interface.
I gotcha.
And you'll get something called USB. So UART or serial port connection.
Serial port. Oh, that's right. So in Node-RED, you have to go over, and they call it, there's like a little hamburger over here. I'll draw a little hamburger. How about that? Like this. You'll see this sometimes up in the corner of things. Maybe there'll be like a little, sometimes people call this like it might be a big hamburger. And then you click on the hamburger, right? And then in Node-RED, and then it'll say palette. And then you click in there, and that's where then you can search for additional nodes to put in. And that's where you're saying the serial nodes.
Yeah, the serial nodes and the UI, dashboard UI.
Right.
So you can add them. And then, and there are a variety of things that you can explore there. They're not just the dashboard and UI.
You can get really fancy.
You can get really fancy.
Machine learning connected to Node-RED and everything. It's really fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the basic thing here. You just get those serial nodes, and then you
just connect, because they are in blocks. So this is the serial, and you're getting the sensor data from serial. So you are connected to an USB, to an external device, to an MCU, microcontroller unit, to a sensor. So the sensor data gets to MCU through USB, through serial, it comes to Node-RED here.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to draw it up. what Pavan did right there. And so you guys already set this all up in the last lab, and it was connected to where you're actually flashing your device or getting it working. And so now instead of looking at your data in your development environment, you switch it and close your development environment, but have that embedded device connected and running, and then you click on this serial node in Node-RED, and then you can pop it up, connect it to that COM port, depending on the computer and the name, but you're connecting to that serial port, and then boom, you can see your data right in there.
The Node-RED, and through UI, you can display it.
Now you're going to the last part, the display data here.
Yeah.
And then you can have a user interface in Node-RED there.
Where you have gauges, graphs, etc.
So here's a tough question.
Yeah.
How do you access the user? This is actually some also some nodes that you add.
Yeah.
And now, how do you access that user interface? That's a tough one.
Yeah. So you have beside this pellet.
Well, because you go with port, right?
Yeah.
And localhost with 1880. What's the next part? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember next part. I remember everything. So we add in the COM port. So you have a UI with different sets here, different pellets here.
Right.
So you go down. Whenever you install a pellet, new things pop into that right hand side of the so the left hand side of the UI.
Okay. Yep.
Of the browser.
Right.
So you scroll down. You have many things in there. So in that you get the serial port for it, and you get you have a small box where you see dashboard.
Right.
So UI options. So there you have gauges, graphs, however you want it.
Right.
So display text or and you can color code them. Everything.
Right. And once you set all that up, then you go into your port or your local host and your 1880, and then your /user interface UI. And then so it's another browser that you have open.
New tab.
So it's a new tab next to your Node-RED tab, and then you can check out your user interface after you set it up.
Yes.
And then you're ready to go. I think we're good for number 3 and number 4. You have anything else?
Yes. So in the UI you can have switches. So through the switches you can control the sensors or the LED.
Oh, you're getting really fancy. You're getting
yeah.
But that's not required.
That's not required.
They just have to show it.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So we'll be done. We're done with number 4, and we'll see you in a little bit for number 5 and number 6.